Welcome back to the channel where we uncover the hidden value of everyday coins and dig deep into the stories behind them. Rarest Coins. Today's video is all about the 1965 Washington quarter. If you've ever looked through your loose change or old coin jars and found a 1965 quarter, you're not alone. It's one of the most common quarters in circulation. But what if I told you that some people are claiming this coin is worth up to $1.9 million? Yes, nearly $2 million for a regular-looking quarter. Let's find out what's fact, what's fiction, and whether you could be holding on to a fortune without even knowing it. Let's begin with the background. The Washington quarter was introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. The design, created by John Flanagan, features Washington's profile on the obverse and a heraldic eagle on the reverse. For decades, this design remained unchanged until the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. Now, 1965 was a turning point in U.S. coinage history. Up until 1964, all quarters were made of 90% silver. But due to a national coin shortage and the rising value of silver, the United States Mint made a major decision to eliminate silver from the dime and quarter altogether. Starting in 1965, quarters were made using a copper-nickel clad composition. This means the coin has a core of pure copper and an outer layer of copper-nickel alloy. The new composition lowered production costs and allowed the mint to keep up with the demand for coins. But here's where it gets interesting. Because of the transition from silver to clad in 1965, there were some complications at the mint. During this time, a few quarters from 1965 were accidentally struck on leftover 90% silver planchets from 1964. These are known as transitional errors. And these rare error coins are the reason why some 1965 quarters can be worth serious money. In general, a regular 1965 Washington quarter in circulated condition is worth just 25 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, without any special errors, it might sell for $1 or $2. But if you find a 1965 quarter that was struck on a silver planchet instead of the normal clad metal, you could be looking at a coin worth thousands. These silver 1965 quarters are extremely rare, and collectors are willing to pay big money for them. So what about the story of a 1965 Washington quarter worth $1.9 million? As of today, there is no official or confirmed public auction where a 1965 quarter has sold for $1.9 million. This figure appears to come from online speculation, misleading headlines, or exaggerated social media posts. However, that doesn't mean the story is completely baseless. There are indeed 1965 quarters that have sold for thousands of dollars at major auctions, and in rare cases, even tens of thousands. For example, a 1965 quarter struck on a 90% silver planchet has sold for over $7,000 at auction. And some of the highest graded 1965 quarters in mint state condition, particularly those with a grade of MS67 or higher, have reached values of several $1,000s due to their rarity and pristine condition. So how can you tell if your 1965 quarter is valuable? First, check the weight. A regular copper-nickel clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. A silver quarter, on the other hand, weighs around 6.25 grams. You'll need a precise digital scale to check the weight accurately. If your 1965 quarter weighs closer to 6.25 grams, you might have a transitional error that was struck on a leftover silver planchet. Next, look at the coin's edge. Clad coins have a visible copper stripe on the edge, while silver coins do not. If the edge of your 1965 quarter is solid silver with no copper showing, that's another strong indicator that you may have a rare silver error. Condition also matters. Coins that are in mint state condition, with no wear, scratches, or damage, are worth more than coins that have been circulated. If your coin appears to be in excellent condition, it might be worth having it graded by a professional service like PCGS or NGC. Keep in mind, there are also rare varieties and minting errors that can increase the value. These include off-center strikes, double dies, broad strikes, and other unusual production mistakes. While these errors aren't common, they do exist and can significantly boost the value of your coin. To summarize, most 1965 Washington quarters are common and worth only face value. But a small number of them, especially those struck on silver planchets or with rare minting errors, can be worth thousands. The widely circulated claim that one sold for $1.9 million is likely an exaggeration, but it highlights how valuable transitional error coins can be. So before you toss that old 1965 quarter into a coin jar or vending machine, take a closer look. Weigh it. Examine the edge. Study the details. You never know. It could be one of those rare coins that slipped through the cracks during one of the most important transitions in U.S. coinage history. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful or eye-opening, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment if you've ever found a coin you think could be valuable. Let us know if you want a video on how to identify silver transitional errors or how to get your coins professionally graded. Until next time, keep searching, keep collecting, and remember, the next treasure might already be in your pocket. Let me know if you'd like this adapted for a short-form version, turned into a blog post, or paired with thumbnail or title ideas for maximum clicks. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden stories behind everyday coins and uncover whether that spare change in your pocket could be worth a fortune. Rarest coins. Today we're taking a close look at the 1966 Washington quarter. This coin has been the subject of some bold claims online. Some sources and social media posts say that a rare version of this coin sold for as much as $1.8 million. That's right, $1.8 million for a simple quarter. Is there any truth to this story? Could you really be holding a coin that valuable? Let's find out. To understand the value of the 1966 quarter, we need to start with a bit of history. The Washington quarter was first minted in 1932 to commemorate the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. Designed by John Flanagan, it featured Washington's profile on the front and a heraldic eagle on the back. This design would remain until the late 1990s. Now, let's talk specifically about the year 1966. This was an interesting time in American coinage history. Just 2 years earlier, in 1964, the United States Mint stopped producing 90% silver coins for circulation. By 1965, quarters were made with a copper-nickel-clad composition instead of silver. The change was made because the value of silver had increased to the point that it became too expensive to continue minting everyday coins with precious metals. In 1966, the United States Mint was still adjusting to the new system, and to help stabilize the coin supply, they made a few major changes. First, they removed mint marks from all coins. That means there is no D for Denver or S for San Francisco on any 1966 quarter. All 1966 quarters are simply labeled as such, with no indication of where they were made. Second, the Mint did not produce proof sets for collectors in 1966, instead offering a special mint set that included higher quality strikes, but not quite as detailed as proof coins. What's the value of a regular 1966 Washington quarter? In circulated condition, most 1966 quarters are worth just their face value, 25 cents. They were made in huge quantities. In fact, over 821 million Washington quarters were minted in 1966. That makes them very common. If you pull one out of a change jar or coin roll and it shows clear signs of wear, scratches, or has lost its original luster, it's probably only worth face value. But now we come to the more interesting side of the story: high-grade coins and rare errors. Some 1966 quarters, especially those found in pristine condition or as part of special mint sets, have sold for significantly more than face value. A quarter from 1966 that grades at MS 67 or higher from a professional grading service like PCGS or NGC can sell for hundreds of dollars. In some cases, even more. One particularly well-preserved example sold for nearly $6,000 at auction. That's an incredible price for a modern quarter. Now let's talk about the rumors of the $1.8 million quarter. Online claims and social media posts often highlight coins like the 1966 quarter and attach huge values to them. You may have seen headlines or videos saying things like rare 1966 quarter sells for $1.8 million or check your change for this million-dollar coin. These claims are often exaggerated or based on misunderstanding of real facts. As of now, there is no publicly confirmed or documented sale of a 1966 Washington quarter that has ever sold for $1.8 million. That number appears to be the result of clickbait or marketing tactics used to grab attention. It's a big number, and it gets people searching through their change, but it doesn't reflect real coin market data. That said, let's not completely dismiss the idea that a 1966 quarter could be extremely valuable. Certain rare errors or one-of-a-kind coins can reach extraordinary values if the right collector comes along. For example, if a 1966 quarter was accidentally struck on a silver planchet, one meant for older silver quarters or a foreign coin, and that coin was authenticated and certified, it could be extremely valuable. These types of minting errors are called transitional errors, and they are incredibly rare. In fact, a small number of 1965 and 1966 quarters have been discovered struck on leftover silver planchets from 1964. These silver transition errors are highly sought after by collectors and can be worth thousands of dollars depending on their condition and certification. Additionally, coins struck with significant doubling, off-center strikes, or other dramatic errors can also command high prices. But again, even these rare examples have not approached the $1.8 million mark. The highest values recorded for 1966 quarters still remain in the range of a few $1,000s at most. So what should you do if you think you have a 1966 Washington quarter that's special? First, check the coin's condition. If it looks brand new, has sharp details, and no signs of wear, it might be worth more than face value. Next, check the weight. A normal copper-nickel-clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. If your coin weighs more than 6 grams, it could be struck on a silver planchet, and that would be a big deal. Use a digital scale to be sure. Also, examine the coin closely under a magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe. Look for signs of doubling in the lettering or images, an off-center strike, or any other abnormalities. If you find something unusual, take photos and consider sending it to a professional grading service for evaluation. To wrap this all up, the 1966 Washington quarter is an interesting coin from a transitional era in American currency. While most examples are common and only worth face value, certain high-grade or rare error coins can be worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. However, the claim that one of these coins sold for $1.8 million remains unverified and likely comes from misinformation or clickbait. Still, that doesn't mean the coin in your hand is worthless. With the right error or in the perfect condition, your 1966 quarter could still be a hidden treasure. Keep your eyes open and your mind curious, because the world of coin collecting is full of surprises. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1966 Washington quarter, be sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss an update. And let me know in the comments if you found a 1966 quarter or any other coin you think might be rare or valuable. Until next time, happy collecting and good luck on your coin hunting journey. If you want a version tailored for short-form content, a script focused only on rare errors, or something SEO optimized for your video description, just let me know. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden stories and surprising values of coins you might already have in your pocket. Today we're diving into the world of the 1997 Washington quarter. At first glance, this coin seems like any other ordinary quarter, but recently, collectors and social media posts have been buzzing with rumors that a rare version of this coin could be worth up to $1.2 million. That's right, over $1 million for a simple quarter minted in 1997. So is it real? Is it hype? And how much is your 1997 quarter really worth? Stick around because we're about to uncover the truth. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter is one of the most recognized coins in American history. It was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by sculptor John Flanagan, the obverse of the coin features a bust of Washington facing left. The reverse on coins from 1932 until 1998 features an eagle with outstretched wings, standing on a bundle of arrows with olive branches beneath it. This design remained unchanged until the launch of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. Now, let's talk about the 1997 Washington quarter specifically. The D Mint mark means it was struck at the Denver Mint. In 1997, the Denver Mint produced hundreds of millions of these quarters. In fact, the official mintage number for the 1997 Washington quarter is over 599 million coins. That makes it one of the more common quarters from the late 90s. With that kind of high mintage, most of these coins are very common in circulated condition and usually worth only face value. You can find them in pocket change, coin rolls, or old jars without even trying very hard. So how does a coin that's so common end up being associated with a value of over $1 million? Here's where things get interesting. In the world of coin collecting, value doesn't just come from age or rarity alone. It comes from condition, grading, unique minting errors, and demand from serious collectors. A coin in perfect, untouched, uncirculated condition can be worth significantly more than a well-worn one. If it has a rare error or some kind of unusual characteristic that makes it unique or one of a kind, the value can shoot up dramatically. Oh, what about the 1997 D quarter? Is there a known version that's truly worth $1.2 million? The short answer is no verified public sale of a 1997 D Washington quarter has ever reached that kind of value. The million-dollar figure most likely comes from viral posts, online listings with unrealistic prices, or speculation that captures people's attention but doesn't reflect real market transactions. That said, there are still things about this coin that could make it valuable, especially under the right circumstances. Let's talk about grading. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect mint state coin with no flaws, scratches, or marks even under magnification. A 1997 D Washington quarter that has been professionally graded as MS 67 or higher can sell for more than $100. If it's MS 68, it could go for a few hundred or even more, depending on the demand. These coins are rare in such pristine condition because most coins get scuffed or worn as soon as they enter circulation. The highest recorded sales for 1997 D quarters in top condition have ranged between a few hundred to over $1,000, but never anywhere close to $1 million. The most expensive examples are those with not just perfect condition, but also special characteristics like unusual toning or strong strike quality. Now let's dive into what can actually make a 1997 D quarter extremely valuable. Minting errors. Mint errors occur during the coin production process. These errors can include double dies, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, broad strikes, coins struck on the wrong planchet, or even transitional errors. Some of these errors are extremely rare and highly sought after by collectors. For example, if a 1997 D Washington quarter was struck on a planchet meant for a foreign coin or struck with an incorrect die that created a one-of-a-kind result, it could command a very high price. If the error is dramatic, visible to the naked eye, and the coin is also in pristine condition, you've got a recipe for a valuable coin. But again, even in those rare cases, confirmed sales of 1997 D quarters with serious errors haven't approached $1 million price tag. Another reason some of these coins are said to be worth massive amounts is due to misrepresented or misunderstood listings on eBay or other online auction platforms. Sellers sometimes list common coins for outrageously high prices, hoping someone who doesn't know the true value will bite. That doesn't mean the coin is actually worth that amount or that anyone is paying those prices. What should you do if you have a 1997 D Washington quarter? Start by looking at its condition. If it looks brand new with full details, no scratches, and original mint luster, you might have a high-grade specimen. You can compare it visually to images of MS 65 and above coins online. Next, check for errors. Examine the coin closely with a magnifying glass or loupe. Look at the lettering, the date, the rim, and the overall shape. If something looks strange or out of place, you could be looking at an error coin. If you think it might be valuable, consider sending it to a professional coin grading service like PCGS or NGC. To sum it all up, the 1997 D Washington quarter is generally a common coin. In circulated condition, it's worth 25 cents. In uncirculated high grades, it can be worth between $5 and several $100s. Rare mint error versions can be worth even more. But the idea that one of these quarters is worth $1.2 million remains unverified and likely based on misinformation or speculative hype. That said, coins are full of surprises. And part of the fun of collecting is that you never know what hidden gems you might discover in a pile of change. So keep looking, keep learning, and who knows, maybe you'll be the one to find the next big treasure. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video and learned something new, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. Drop a comment below if you've ever found a rare coin in your change or if you want us to cover a specific coin in our next video. Until next time, happy collecting and keep your eyes on the coins. Let me know if you want this rewritten for a YouTube Shorts format, podcast script, or with extra SEO optimization for a video description or blog post. Welcome back to the channel where we explore the hidden stories, shocking values, and mysterious facts behind everyday coins. If you've ever looked at your pocket change and wondered if you might be holding something rare, you're in the right place. Rarest coins. Today we're looking at the 1981 P. Washington quarter. Now, if you're like most people, you've probably come across one of these coins and thought nothing of it. But lately, there's been a buzz online about a rare 1981 quarter supposedly selling for as much as $1.4 million. Yes, a simple quarter worth almost $1.5 million. Sounds unbelievable, right? Let's break down the facts and find out what's really going on. First, let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American coinage since 1932. It was created to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin features a left-facing portrait of Washington on the obverse and a majestic bald eagle with outstretched wings on the reverse. This design remained unchanged for decades until the start of the 50-state quarters program in 1999. Now, let's talk about the year 1981. That was during a time when the U.S. Mint was producing a massive number of coins for circulation. The Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the letter P on the coin, struck over 600 million quarters in 1981. To be exact, the total mintage for the 1981 P. Washington quarter was over 601 million. With that many produced, most of these coins are very common and can still be found in circulation today. How does a coin like this end up being associated with a value of $1.4 million? Well, here's the reality. In typical circulated condition, the 1981 P quarter is only worth face value. It's just 25 cents. Even in uncirculated condition, most of these coins range in value from $1 to maybe $10, depending on the quality. However, a few coins in near-perfect condition that have been professionally graded at the highest levels, such as MS67 or higher, have been known to sell for a few $100s at auction. But that's still a far cry from $1.4 million. Where did this million-dollar story come from? In most cases, these viral claims are based on misleading online listings, fake auction results, or exaggerated social media posts. People sometimes list common coins online for ridiculous prices hoping to go viral or get attention. Just because a coin is listed for $1.4 million doesn't mean it actually sold for that price. Anyone can list a coin on an auction site for any price they want. That doesn't mean a collector is actually paying that amount. That being said, there are some rare exceptions. In the coin world, error coins can dramatically increase a coin's value. These are coins that were struck with mistakes during the minting process. They can include off-center strikes, double dies, clipped planchets, or even coins struck on the wrong metal. So far, there are no widely confirmed examples of a 1981 P. Washington quarter with a major mint error that sold anywhere near $1 million. But minor errors from that year do exist and can still fetch higher prices than normal. For example, a 1981 P quarter with a strong die clash, misaligned die, or double die obverse might be worth anywhere from a few dollars to a few $100s, depending on the error and condition. Another thing to consider is condition. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect, flawless coin. A 1981 P quarter graded at MS67 or MS68 by a service like PCGS or NGC is extremely rare. That's because these coins were struck for everyday use and often suffered from weak strikes or poor handling at the mint. High-grade examples with sharp details and clean surfaces are much harder to find. When one of these high-grade coins does appear at auction, it can sell for hundreds or even over $1,000. But still, that's not $1.4 million. Now here's where the story could take a turn. Hypothetically, if a 1981 P quarter were to be discovered with an extremely rare and dramatic mint error, like being struck on a gold planchet or featuring a one-of-a-kind die variety, and if it were authenticated and graded in top condition, then it could potentially be worth tens of thousands or more. But such a coin would be the stuff of legends. As of now, no such verified coin is known to exist in the public record. What should you look for in your 1981 P. Washington quarters? Start with the basics. Look at the overall condition of the coin. Does it have any luster left? Are the details sharp and crisp? If so, it might be in uncirculated condition and worth sending in for grading. Then, look closely for any signs of doubling in the lettering or images, especially in the word liberty, the date, or the motto "In God We Trust." Use a magnifying glass or loupe for a better view. Also, examine the edge of the coin. If the coin looks like it might be made of a different metal or has an odd color or weight, you could be looking at a possible planchet error. Check weight. Use a digital scale. A standard copper-nickel clad quarter weighs about 5.67 grams. If your 1981 P quarter weighs significantly more or less than that, you might have something worth investigating. That if you suspect your coin is special, consider sending it to a professional grading service for evaluation. Grading not only confirms authenticity, but also helps establish market value if you decide to sell. In conclusion, the 1981 P Washington quarter is a common coin in most cases. Regular circulated examples are worth face value. High-grade uncirculated examples can be worth a few $100s, and rare errors might push that value even higher. But the claim that one of these coins sold for $1.4 million remains unverified and likely stems from misinformation or clickbait designed to grab attention. Still, that doesn't mean your coin hunt is a waste of time. The thrill of the search, the possibility of finding something rare, and the growing value of coins in pristine condition make collecting an exciting and rewarding hobby. You never know, the next great discovery could be in your change jar right now. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe for more content on rare coins, hidden gems, and valuable collectibles. Leave a comment below if you've ever found a rare quarter or want to know more about specific years and varieties. Until next time, happy collecting and keep checking your change. Let me know if you'd like this script optimized for a shorter format, or if you want help designing a catchy title or thumbnail for the video. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover hidden treasures in everyday coins. Today we're diving into the fascinating story of the 1995 D Washington quarter. At first glance, it's just another quarter. But rumors have been flying around the coin collecting world that one of these seemingly ordinary coins sold for as much as $1.1 million. That's right, $1.1 million for a quarter you might have in your pocket right now. So what's the truth? Is it hype or hidden value? Let's find out. First, let's start with some background. The Washington quarter has been a staple of American currency since 1932. It was originally created to honor the 200th anniversary of George Washington's birth. The design, by sculptor John Flanagan, features the profile of George Washington on the obverse, or front, and the American eagle on the reverse. Over the decades, this design has remained largely unchanged until the state quarters program started in 1999. Now, the 1995 D Washington quarter was minted in Denver, as indicated by the small d mint mark on the coin. That year, the Denver Mint struck over 1.1 billion of these coins. With such a massive mintage, this coin is generally considered common. So the big question is, how can something so common be worth more than $1 million? Let's break it down. In general, most 1995 D Washington quarters in circulation are worth 25 cents. If it's been through years of wear and tear, spent in vending machines, wallets, pockets, and purses, then that's all it's worth. However, when we talk about coin value in the collector's market, things change dramatically based on a few factors. The first and most important factor is condition. A 1995 D Washington quarter in mint state condition, meaning it shows no signs of wear and has sharp details and original luster, can be worth significantly more than face value. Coins that are graded by professional grading services such as PCGS or NGC and receive a high grade like MS 67 or MS 68 can fetch hundreds or even thousands of dollars. In fact, one verified sale of a 1995 D Washington quarter graded MS 67 plus by PCGS reached over $1,400 at auction. That's an extraordinary price for a modern quarter, but it's still a long way from $1.1 million. So where does the $1 million story come in? The answer lies in the world of rare coin errors and unique specimens. In very rare cases, coins are struck with unusual defects or on incorrect planchets, making them rare collectibles. These error coins can include things like double dies, off-center strikes, or coins struck on metal blanks intended for other denominations. If a 1995 D Washington quarter were discovered with a major minting error that is both dramatic and unique, and if it's in pristine condition, it could potentially be worth a very large sum. But so far, there is no officially confirmed or publicly documented sale of a 1995 D quarter that has reached the $1.1 million mark. The claim may be based on speculation, exaggerated rumors, or misunderstood listings. Sometimes online listings will feature absurd prices to draw attention, but that doesn't mean the coin actually sold for that amount. That said, let's not throw the whole idea away just yet. If you have a 1995 D Washington quarter, it's definitely worth taking a closer look. Examine the coin under good lighting. Look for any doubling in the lettering or the image, any signs of the coin being struck off center, or anything unusual about the design or metal. If something looks off or different, you might have a valuable error coin in your hands. Even without an error, if your coin has never been circulated and is in pristine mint condition, it could be worth sending in for professional grading. A certified high-grade coin can easily bring in more than $100, and in some rare cases, more than $1,000. But what about the $1 million mark? Could there be a one-of-a-kind 1995 D quarter out there that's truly worth seven figures? In the world of coin collecting, anything is possible. If a coin has a unique history, a dramatic error that is one of a kind, and there's enough demand from elite collectors, a sky-high price is not entirely out of the question. Think of the 1943 copper penny, which was a mint error and has sold for over $1 million. The key is rarity, demand, and conditioned SO. While it's highly unlikely that a standard 1995 D Washington quarter will make you a millionaire, it's still worth checking your change. You never know what you might find. Every now and then, someone discovers a rare gem in a roll of coins or in pocket change that ends up being worth thousands or more. Wrap it up. The 1995 D Washington quarter is mostly a common coin, with over $1 billion struck. In circulated condition, it's worth face value. In mint state condition, it can be worth tens or even hundreds of dollars. In rare high-grade cases, it might fetch over $1,000. But the $1.1 million story, as of now, that remains unverified and likely exaggerated. Still, the world of coin collecting is full of surprises, and the next big discovery could be waiting in your pocket. Thanks for watching. If you found this video helpful, informative, or just plain interesting, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And if you've got any rare coins or stories of your own, drop them in the comments below. Who knows, maybe your quarter is the next $1 million coin. See you in the next video. Let me know if you want a shorter version, one optimized for Shorts or TikTok, or one that focuses more on the collector or grading angle. Welcome back to the channel where we uncover hidden treasures in everyday coins and reveal the shocking truth behind the change in your pocket. Rarest coins today, we are diving deep into the 1983 P Washington quarter. This coin has become the subject of incredible rumors and speculation, with some sources claiming that a rare version sold for as much as $1.3 million. Yes, you heard that right. $1.3 million for a single quarter. But is that number real? Could your old 1983 P quarter actually be worth a small fortune? Let's find out the truth by breaking down the history, mintage, value, and the facts behind this mysterious and potentially valuable coin. Let's start with the basics. The Washington quarter was first introduced in 1932 to honor the 200th birthday of George Washington. Designed by John Flanagan, the coin's obverse features the bust of Washington, while the reverse shows a bold eagle with wings spread, perched on a bundle of arrows with olive branches below. At BY 1983, the Washington quarter had already been circulating for over 50 years. And just like previous years after 1964, it was struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition, no longer made of silver. This change happened due to the rising cost of silver in the 1960s. So by 1983, the quarter was a modern coin made for everyday transactions. But that doesn't mean it wasn't hiding a few surprises. Now let's talk about the 1983 P quarter specifically. The P mint mark indicates it was minted in Philadelphia. That year, the Philadelphia Mint produced a little over 673 million of these quarters. That's a big number, and it means that in general, this coin is common in circulated condition. If you find one in your change, odds are it's been used and worn for decades, meaning its value is likely only face value. But here's where things start to get interesting. Unlike many other years, 1983 stands out because the U.S. Mint did not release uncirculated mint sets in 1982 or 1983. This is extremely important. Why? Because for those 2 years, the only way to get a brand new 1983 quarter was to pull it directly from circulation. That means finding a well-preserved, high-grade 1983 P quarter is much harder than usual. Most of them were used, spent, scratched, and worn out. This created scarcity among collectors trying to find pristine examples. Because of that, uncirculated 1983 P quarters in top condition can command serious money. Coins that have been professionally graded at high levels like MS-66 or MS-67 have sold for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at major coin auctions. The highest graded examples are extremely rare and highly sought after by serious collectors. One of the most famous sales involved a 1983 P quarter graded MS-67, which sold for several $1,000s. Another example with stunning full strike detail and strong luster broke price records among modern clad coins. These coins are the elite few, virtually flawless, carefully preserved, and professionally graded. But what about the story of a 1983 P quarter selling for $1.3 million? So far, there is no confirmed or verifiable record of any 1983 P quarter officially selling for $1.3 million. This number likely comes from viral videos, social media posts, or auction listings that were never completed. Sometimes, sellers list coins at outrageous prices online, not to sell them, but to get attention. This doesn't mean someone paid that price. It just means it was listed at that price. And unfortunately, that's how these rumors get started. Still, that doesn't mean the 1983 P quarter is worthless. Far from it. In fact, this coin has one of the most valuable and collectible varieties of any modern quarter. The famous 1983 P spitting eagle. This variety is known for a die break or die chip that appears to show a line or jet of metal coming out of the eagle's beak on the reverse of the coin. It literally looks like the eagle is spitting. That small die break has become extremely popular among collectors. Spitting eagle quarters in excellent condition can sell for $50 to several $100s, especially if professionally graded. So between the lack of mint sets, the challenge of finding uncirculated coins, and the popularity of the spitting eagle variety, the 1983 P quarter is without a doubt one of the most interesting and valuable modern quarters in circulation today. What should you do if you have a 1983 P quarter? First, check its condition. If it has lots of scratches, wear, or looks dull, it's probably only worth face value. But if it looks shiny, detailed, and almost brand new, it could be worth a lot more, especially if it has been well preserved over the years. Second, flip the coin over and look at the eagle on the reverse. Look carefully near the beak. If you see a raised line coming from the mouth of the eagle, you might have the famous spitting eagle variety. That's a coin worth holding onto and possibly sending in for grading. Third, consider the grade. Coins are graded on a scale from 1 to 70, with 70 being a perfect coin. Coins graded MS-65 and above are where serious value starts to appear. An MS-67 1983 P quarter is extremely rare and can sell for thousands of dollars. To wrap this all up, the 1983 P Washington quarter is not just another common coin. Because of the unique circumstances of that year, no uncirculated mint sets, high collector demand, and the rare spitting eagle variety, it has become one of the most desirable modern quarters in the hobby. While the claim that one sold for $1.3 million remains unconfirmed and likely exaggerated, there is no doubt that this coin can be extremely valuable under the right conditions. A high-grade example, or one with a rare mint error or variety, could make your 1983 P quarter worth hundreds or even thousands of dollars. Before you spend it or toss it into a coin jar, take a closer look. You just might be holding a hidden treasure. Thanks for watching. If you found this video informative or surprising, don't forget to like and subscribe for more deep dives into rare coins and valuable finds. Let us know in the comments if you've ever found a 1983 P quarter or if you want us to cover a specific year or variety next. Until then, happy collecting and keep checking your change. Let me know if you want this adapted for a YouTube short script, optimized title ideas, or thumbnail copy to increase video views.